Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Titus Andronicus, and today we get to hear from Titus Andronicus in Act 3, Scene 1. So, forewarning, gross stuff and disturbing stuff is going to be discussed in today's episode. Because things are not going well for the Andronicus family. There was this hunting trip that was supposed to bring the Andronicus family and Saturnius family sort of back together again, but on that trip, Basanius was murdered by Chiron and Demetrius, Tamara's sons, and his body dumped in a pit where Aaron then brought Quintus and Marcius, Titus's sons, and threw them in the pit. Well, they fell in the pit, where Aaron was then able to frame them for the murder of Basanius. And since Basanius is Saturnius' son, Saturnius has sentenced Marcius and Quintus to die. And while all of that was going on, Chiron and Demetrius took Lavinia elsewhere and raped her repeatedly, cut off her hands, and cut out her tongue so that she would never be able to tell anybody what had happened. So Marcus Andronicus then found Lavinia and is bringing her back to find Titus. Meanwhile, Titus has spent the first part of this scene pleading for the lives of his two sons, saying, I never cried for my other 22 sons that died, but I'm going to cry and beg for these ones because these two are innocent. They didn't kill Basanius, so please, please spare them. But the tribunes and the whole procession that is taking Quintus and Marcius to be executed just walked right by. So he ends up just sort of asking the dirt around him, asking the dirt and stones as he's weeping on the ground. And his son Lucius had come in and he's like, Dad, there's nobody here to listen to you. And Titus is like, but I'm gonna keep asking and keep crying anyway because the stones are kinder than the tribunes are. But then Marcus Andronicus and Lavinia come in, and Marcus is like, I have something to show you. And Titus is like, it's going to be bad, isn't it? He's like, this was your daughter. And Lucius is like, oh my God, oh my God, this sight is killing me. And Titus says, faint-hearted boy, arise and look upon her. Speak, Lavinia, what accursed hand hath made thee handless in thy father's sight? What fool hath added water to the sea, or brought a faggot to bright burning Troy? My grief was at the height before thou camest, and now, like Nihilus, it disdaineth bounds. Give me a sword, I'll chop off my hands too, for they have fought for Rome, and all in vain, and they have nursed this woe in feeding life. In bootless prayer have they been held up, and they have served me to effectless use. Now all the service I require of them is that one will help to cut the other. 'Tis well, Lavinia, that thou hast no hands, for hands to do Rome service is but vain. So it's a continuation of his grief, but like a growing of his grief. He says in here that he thought that his grief was as bad as it was going to get before she showed up. But now he sees her with no hands. He doesn't realize yet that she doesn't have a tongue either. He just sees her without hands, and he's like, there is no limit to my grief now. It's just going to keep growing. And he says that he will cut off his own hands because, he did all this fighting for Rome. He fought this war against the Goths for like 10 years and lost 21 sons in that war. And this is what has become of his family. Two of his remaining sons are about to be executed, and his daughter has been violated and mutilated. So he's like, it would be better if I didn't have hands. And he actually says to Lavinia, it's good that you don't have hands, because now you can't do anything good for Rome, because Rome will not give you anything good back. But he wants her to speak and say who did it, and Marcus has to be like, she can't. Really, she really, really can't. And Lucius is like, well, then speak for her and tell us who did this. And Titus is going to have another monologue tomorrow. He talks a lot in this scene, but he's got a lot going on, so I think that's fair. But yeah, we'll get to hear from him again tomorrow as we continue to lament the mutilation of Lavinia. Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow for more. Mwah.